Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'd like to leave you with a little story to think about as you drive home through the darkness.
When you live out on the frontier, you have no identity. You're a nobody. Therefore, you get very tough. You have to prove that you are somebody. And so you become very violent. And so identity is always accompanied by violence. All forms of violence are a quest for identity. We're going back into the bicameral mind, which is tribal, collective, without any individual consciousness. Tribal people, one of their main kinds of sport is sort of butchering each other. It's a full-time sport in tribal societies. Ordinary people find the need for violence as they lose their identities. So it's only the threat to people's identity that makes them violent. Terrorists, hijackers, these are people minus identity. They are determined to make it somehow, to get coverage, to get noticed. They become alienated from themselves very quickly, and then they seek all sorts of bizarre outlets to establish some sort of identity. But people in all times have been this way. Mm-hmm. But in our time, when things happen very quickly, there's very little time to adjust to new situations at the speed of light. There's very little time to get accustomed to anything. They have lost their sense of direction. They do not have goals. They don't have objectives. And that is putting it mildly. By the way, one of the big marks of the loss of identity is nostalgia. They become alienated from themselves very quickly, and then they seek all sorts of bizarre outlets to establish some sort of identity. It has become one of the main occupations of mankind, just watching other people and keeping a record of their goings-on. You can play many roles, but you can only have one job at a time.
Once upon a time, many, many years ago, a rich merchant in Baghdad sent his servant to the marketplace to buy provisions. And after a while, the servant came back white-faced and trembling and said, "Master, when I was in the marketplace, I was jostled by a woman in the crowd, and I turned to look, and I saw that it was death that had jostled me. And she looked at me and made a threatening gesture. Oh, master, please lend me your horse that I may ride away from this city and escape my fate. I will ride to Samara, and death will not find me there." So the merchant loaned him the horse, and the servant mounted it and dug his spurs into its flank, and as fast as the horse could gallop, he rode towards Samara. Then the merchant went to the marketplace, and he saw Death standing in the crowd, and he said to her, "Why did you make a threatening gesture to my servant when you saw him this morning?" And Death said, "I made no threatening gesture. That was only a start of surprise. I was astonished to see him here in Baghdad, for I have an appointment with him tonight in Samara."
This is a pathetic thing because nobody ever mistook fictional entertainment violence for reality. And that goes along with a very weak identity. That it is very confusing to the idea of private identity or even group identity. And our own problems are relatively small compared to other people's problems. Survival, however, is a legitimate goal in life, especially in a fast-changing world. Because there is always the challenge of meeting the opposition head-on.